Y'all officially an incinerator. We late, but welcome to MidDay Mania, people. We appreciate y'all. We're gonna do our same format. First off, I hope everybody's having a great day, being safe. If you're out on the road, understand something. There's gonna be a lot of holiday traffic. Be safe out there. Leave earlier. Leave time to get where it is you're going. All right, pause and play. You asked me something. I made a notation, and I'm gonna go ahead on and address this. The unwanted people of the 2A community. We're gonna do the same thing we do every time. We're gonna give 5 minutes for everybody to get in here. I want to make this clear. Listen to what I say. Listen to the whole entire thing, cause it's gonna start in one way, but it's gonna blossom. It's gonna blossom. Yeah, it's good to see you too. We're gonna try and work. We working out here. We're gonna try and work. I might see if I can get another one in later on today. I'm gonna try and get some kind of shooting footage. I'm trying to do what I can get done. Like I said, it's holiday weekend. Oh yeah, you guys see I'm rocking my Hillary for Prison 2016 shirt. So you know, definitely MidDay Mania. I know on the East Coast it's already about 1:30. I know I'm late. I had a couple of things going on. Sorry about that, everybody. I usually try and do this promptly at noon Central Time. But wherever you at, shout out to you. Shout out to everybody, because this is a worldwide movement. I'm going to say this again. I want everybody to listen to what I'm going to say, because I'm going to go down the line of how this is going to affect everybody. This is going to touch everybody. I'm only going to do a 30-minute live stream. I'm going to get off of here around 1 o'clock Central Time, because I got something else I got to take care of. What's going on, Travel? I can't call it. Because this subject reaches further than everybody thinks it does. As you come in, make sure you hit the like button. But this subject reaches further than everybody think it does, and I've always told you guys and girls in America, the Second Amendment is one of those crazy amendments that has become leverage. You know what I mean? Where I'm from New Orleans, born and raised. I live in Iowa, but I'm born and raised in New Orleans. I was born and raised in the Mardi Gras, the Boot, Louisiana, I-10, Uptown. We are in the building. Yep. So, like I said, I give everybody another minute and a half to get in here. Definitely. Oh, what's going on? I can't call it. What's up with you? Yeah, this. I have previous videos that I've done about this. I don't think I've ever done this like a live stream strictly on this topic. But I do have recorded video. If you're new to the channel, we got over 800 wonderful pieces of information. All right, pleased to meet you too. We got over 800 pieces of wonderful information. Some of it is shooting. Some of it is just talking. We got the shorts that we do, shooting, different places that you might have seen me. For people that's from Mexico, definitely, the Mexican community, you guys know I show all the time. Different shorts down there in Mexico. Sorry about that. Oh, I appreciate you. Let's go ahead on and get into it. We're at the 5-minute mark. So, pause and play. Nola had asked me to address something on the live stream, and this is why this channel is growing, and this is becoming the place to be. I want to do more engagements. Like I said, I'm starting to do more live streams and write down topics and things that you guys and girls want to hear about that's related to the 2A community. And let me get into it. So, the Second Amendment is an amendment that is used for political leverage, but everybody that believes in the Second Amendment don't believe in it the same way. So you guys know this is going to be a history lesson. So don't get all huffy and puffy. Just listen to what I'm telling you, because it's good. I'm going to touch every community and see how, when it comes to the second community, that should be something that should bring us together. When the Second Amendment was ratified, we foundational Black Americans were still 3/5 of a human at the time. I understand as time go on, things change, but as an inception, it wasn't for us. We did fight in the Revolutionary War and wars and what have you. Throughout the time, once all the civil uprisings we had, the slavery rebellions we had in the country, going up to the Civil War and all that, you guys know we fought on both sides of the conflict. Then going into, once we had, yeah, it still is, but once we got off the plantations, Reconstruction, when we walked off the plantations and started building towns, we also started gathering arms, because no people can be free without firearms. There's not one free country that doesn't have a military. You have to have arms to protect yourself. When firearms got popularized in America during the Prohibition, all the mass slayings that there were, the Italians, the Jews, the Irish, and all the other different gangs that ran during Prohibition. A lot of people made a lot of money during Prohibition. That's when, after Prohibition, the fully automatic firearms was outlawed because of the Thompson and the amount of carnage that is spread. A 45 ACP that holds 100 rounds and it shoots like a typewriter, literally. Guys and girls know they used to call it a typewriter. Then we move up to Ronald Reagan and the Panthers. When they showed up to the state capitol legally armed, they found a loophole with the long guns. You guys know he signed legislation. The first piece of modern day gun control was by Ronald Reagan. And it got a conversation going. Now, a lot of people might say, Unc, you reaching. Unc, why you got to bring that up? This is something we need to discuss, because it starts in one place, but it never stays there. Yeah, I have a gun. This is a Second Amendment channel. Of course I have a firearm. All mine's legal. The NRA and other gun rights advocates were in favor of this. Being from Louisiana, there's video of the Klan having firearms in open public, riding around on pickup trucks and things like that, but nevertheless. But after the Panthers, the sentiment growed about the Second Amendment. It started with black folk. The sentiment was that if we get armed, we was going to want to take revenge for the things that happened to us. And that it was going to be some kind of an armed uprising in America because black folks and guns. Then the TV shows came. The TV shows showed us as not being synonymous with using firearms to hunt, for sportsmanship, or to protect ourselves. The media painted us as having firearms that's illegal and being criminals. Even though the Second Amendment was meant to be for everybody, the media helped create a narrative publicly that was going on privately. You guys and girls know I've told you I've dealt with all kinds of people from law enforcement. And some of them have been honest about me and practicing my Second Amendment rights. Some have said they don't like black folk being armed. Some have said they don't like no citizen being armed. But let me get to this, because I want to make sure I cover all these bases, because I got to give you guys and girls something to think about and show you guys how when an idea is born out of evil, if you don't stop it, don't think that it won't spread and reach you eventually. So it was meant to corral us. It was meant to stop us from being armed. You go into GunTube, modern times, there's still this sense of awe after all these years of black folk being legally armed. For those of you who don't know, over 80% of us has never been arrested or have ever committed a crime. So this narrative that we're associated with criminality is basically a myth. Not a myth, but it's overblown. But most people don't see black people being synonymous with legal firearm ownership. At RM5, that was an experience for me. I remember listening to them talk about how when they first came up with this idea, how hard it was to put this together. All the hurdles that they had to jump through. There've been 5 events and there've been no fatalities, no shootings, no anything. The amount of time that we put into safety and things, it's gonna be a long time, because we're still fighting the media narrative that we and firearms don't go together. That anytime you see us with a firearm, it's illegal. If you notice, when law enforcement stop you, they never ask you, do you have a firearm legally? They ask you if you got anything in the car illegal you ain't supposed to have. Drugs, knives, guns. But this country has a Second Amendment clause. So what do you mean? Don't assume that my firearm is illegal. The assumption is that when it comes to us being armed, that gun must be illegal. Unfortunately, I found out that some of the experiences I had about being disarmed was not just me. I knew it couldn't only be me. You guys and girls know I talked about the story out there in Florida where the brother was pulled over for running a red light, because you know that's what they do. There's always the stupidest reason to pull you over. Florida is open constitutional carry. This guy let these officers know he had a firearm, and it wound up almost costing him his life, because the female officer decided she was going to disarm him, and she pulled the trigger, and his gun fired and shot him in the leg. Now, to their credit or discredit, they did get a tourniquet on him and help save his life. The point is, he was legally armed. He should not have been disarmed because his arms was legal. But the sentiment, and I've seen other YouTubers, gun tubers that's not black talk about, we still have a long way to go in making ourselves synonymous with legal firearms. You go to a lot of these different places, there's been videos throughout the years of gun stores that refuse to even sell us guns, even with permits. They say you have the right to refuse service at any time for any reason to anybody without explanation. When you go in most businesses, you see those signs if you read. So it's their right. The majority of them have been uh, blatant to say, I don't want to sell you a firearm because you're black. And I may not like that, but I can respect them being honest. So we still are really, really not embraced when it comes to the Second Amendment. I'm the guy who has made several videos saying, I know that I have an asterisk next to my Second Amendment rights because of the things I've had to experience in multiple places about my firearm. Having it taken from me, having it ran, having them taking all the bullets out of it and giving me the gun back and saying, well, we put the mag and the bullets in the car separate, but I'm legally carrying. Understanding that a traffic stop for me with a firearm is different than what my rights say. Yeah, on paper my rights say I have a right to not have them take my firearm because I haven't committed a crime. On the side of the road, the law is different. That's why I'm able to sit here and talk to you. I may not like it, but all right, Indonesia, we got Indonesia in the building. That's why I say what I say. When you legally armed, every video I've ever done on this channel about the Second Amendment goes back to when you legally armed, we all have a different set of laws we gotta follow. You have to survive the encounter. There's been plenty of times that I was huffing and puffing and angry that I got stopped for nothing. But you know what? That wasn't the time to argue with them. Because the one thing I understand crooked cops, because in New Orleans, the motherfuckers was bold enough to tell us what was on their mind. And I can respect it. I can respect the upfront cop more than I can respect the undercover. The one who will write a false report, but will try and get in my face and smile and tell me I'm just doing my job. I may not like the brutal cop, but that motherfucker's honest and he's not gonna let me think something is different than what it is. The Derek Chauvin type. If you guys and girls don't know, we don't like them in the hood, but we give them more respect because they up front with us. As opposed to the ones who will pretend like they're on the up and up, but they always help and write these false reports. But nevertheless, back to what I was saying. So I know as a black man, I have an asterisk next to my Second Amendment right. And I have to always use my head more than my emotion. When you use your heart, you wind up dead. Because the one thing about your firearm that you legally own, if they take your life on the side of the road, they can always say that this firearm is registered to you and that you reached for it. So I'm proactive. I don't like it, but you know what? At the end of the day, I still like being alive. I still have a family. My family want me to survive the encounter. And surviving the encounter means staying 3 or 4 steps ahead. Now, I'm going to tell you guys, give me just 1 second. I'm going to step off camera. Give me just a second. Sorry about that, everybody. You see how the Proud Boys and all these oath keepers and all these militias that claim they love the Second Amendment, they don't really love it. They love parts of the Second Amendment. This channel, I got videos. Me, the Alert Zone TV has made it clear. If you're able to pass a background check and you're able to be legally armed, I don't give a damn who get armed. If you one of these people who have hatred in your heart, the way I'm going to stop you is I got this echelon sitting next to me. It's going to be a gunfight at the OK Corral, and if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose, but I'm going to go down swinging. I don't care about them guys showing up in the tactical gear and all that. The way you keep them off of you is you get legally armed. But now let me get to y'all, white folk. Because there's a lot of people, a lot of y'all back the badge and support law enforcement, and are the same people behind closed doors that's helping push some of these fucking gun laws, these gun restrictions and all that. Up there in Massachusetts and California and all these other places, law enforcement has got their hand in this. You might have a few of them that don't feel like that, but a lot of them feel like we would rather to disarm even the legal citizens. You ever notice how when these gun laws get passed, with the exception of Illinois, the majority of these, I love the Second Amendment, officers never go gung-ho and go public and say, nah, this is wrong. This is wrong, we're going to fight this. They figure, hell, the less of y'all that's armed, the more safer a lot of them feel, or the more of them that feel like if they want to commit any kind of crimes against us, they ain't got to worry about a repercussion. So you got all these people, a lot of these senators and statesmen and all these elected officials, a lot of them are pro Second Amendment. They just don't want you to be armed. That's all. They have guns behind their closed doors. They just don't want you to have them. You'd be surprised at how many of them tell you, I love the Second Amendment, and then go right on in there and vote right against it for you having it. Let me make this clear. I don't feel we should have any restrictions on our Second Amendment rights. As long as we following the law, we should be allowed to practice our Second Amendment without having to be worried about having our lives taken from us or having our freedom taken from us. Things like that. There's a group of people I want to talk to, and I'm going to be very direct with y'all. I'm not going to, I've already given my opinion about this whole immigration thing. Right now, we got a lot going on across the country. This is a worldwide movement, but here in America, I know people from all different walks that subscribe to this channel because people come up to me. I'm like a Z-list celebrity, but people seem to notice me here and there. If you're an immigrant, if you're a child of immigrant, if you live in a place where there's a heavy immigrant population and you legally carry, listen to what I'm going to tell you. Get out of your goddamn feelings. If you're accosted, if you're approached, use your head. You have a firearm on you. These guys and girls are jumping out ready to shoot. If they should happen to accost you, keep your hands where you can see them. I know they want to say that they just yanking people and going. Now they're questioning. Hey, look. Go ahead, my wallet is in my pocket. Do your due diligence right there on the side of the road and keep stepping. I want to tell you guys why I'm giving you this advice. In New Orleans, when we had the jump out squad, back in the days when the jump out boys would jump out on us, they didn't ask us nothing. They would jump out on us and just grab us and throw us on the ground. Grab us and throw us up on the car and say, we searching you. They didn't ask us. They told us we searching you. When you legally armed, you have to use this. You can't get emotional. And I know, believe me, you know how they say if looks can kill? If looks can kill, I would have killed a lot of officers for the way that they would handle me. But you know what I understood? I still got to survive the encounter. I know in New Orleans, it didn't matter that I had a white button-down shirt on and black pants and black shoes. That is a restaurant's outfit. That's people that work in the food industry and the hospitality industry in New Orleans. That didn't stop law enforcement from grabbing me. And the jump out squad only targeted black males. That was a fact. They didn't care if you had a suit on. I seen guys that were lawyers getting snatched out of their cars. So if you live in an area like I live here in Iowa, where I live in Marshalltown, there's whites, there's Hispanics, there's Asians, there's Africans, and there's Haitians and stuff are starting to move up here. I could possibly get mistaken for one of them. I carry a pistol on me all the time. The one thing I'm not going to do is start pulling and kicking and screaming like a fool and get shot. When they had the Ebola breakout up here, I've never been to Africa a day in my life. I got paperwork on my family back to the 1800s, the plantations that we came off, long before 23andMe and all this genetic shit, back when we had to do it the old way. When I would go in places up here during the Ebola crisis, the first thing they would ask me, have you been to Africa in the last 21 days? I ain't never been to Africa in my life. But I understand the country I live in, and I fit a profile. And the profile I fit is, well, he's black, he must be African, we have to question. And I was okay with that. Look, you may not like some things, but at the end of the day, the Alert Zone TV is here about teaching everybody how to survive the encounter and how to move with your pistol. Because you always have to remember one thing. Just like you got people out here in law enforcement that's doing the right thing, you got the opportunists too. And there ain't nothing like an opportunity to shoot somebody that had a legal owned pistol on them. Because the argument always can be, well, I don't think he pulled the pistol on law enforcement, but if there's no body camera footage, or if they won't release the footage, the public will never know. So I understand what y'all going through. For those of you who may feel like it's not right, we've been through it. If anybody from New Orleans see this, that's 25 years old or older, you know what I'm talking about. Hell, the Hot Boys made a song about it called Tuesdays and Thursdays. The only thing I didn't like about that song is it failed to include, you didn't have to be a street dude. You didn't have to be selling drugs to get stopped. You didn't have to be doing anything wrong. All you had to do was be outside. That's all you had. When we was doing Harris Casino, I was working for Bo Brothers Construction at the time. When we was doing Harris Casino, one day I got off the bus right there on Claiborne and Martin Luther King. I used to live on 1st and Roman. I got off the bus on Claiborne and Martin Luther King. For those of you who remember the old New Orleans, churches is across the street. Then it's the gas station now. It's the gas station, but now it's the car wash. And right across the street from there is Miss Heister's Barbecue. I was covered in concrete. I had construction stuff on. You already knew what I did for a living. I had a hat on my head that said Bo Brothers. They came up St. Andrew. They jumped out of the car and yanked me and threw me on the ground right there in front of Miss Heister's Barbecue. Asked me where I'm coming from. You see this hat on my head? I'm coming from work. Didn't matter. That's the only justice the song didn't do. It makes people think that you have to be a drug dealer. You didn't have to be a drug dealer. And there was no specific part of town that this went on. It went on all over town. I would be on St. Charles Street. It didn't happen. It didn't happen to me in the Audubon area. For those of you who don't know, that's where money is at in Orleans Parish. St. Charles Avenue, the Audubon area, Fontainebleau area, Gentilly, the lakefront area. It didn't matter. They would snatch your ass out of the damn car. They was 3 deep. The back cop would sit in the back seat of the car with the door closed, but not all the way. That way he can jump out. Yeah, the quarter, it didn't matter. And if you going down through the French Quarter, you already know 90% of the dudes from New Orleans that's down there is going to work or coming from work. Whether they dress like it or not, you know what we down there for. They were snatching us up everywhere. So I know the feeling. For those of you who feel like we're being targeted, we've been through it. I'm sitting here to tell you because I had enough sense to say, hey, this is what it is. I don't like it, but I still got to survive the encounter. I'm telling you that as a law-abiding citizen, all of us are under siege. It doesn't matter what your ethnic or racial makeup is. Remember during the COVID lockdowns, when all those people stormed the Michigan State Capitol with them damn guns, well, the state of Michigan responded. Shit, they done went after assault rifles and everything else. They trying to ban everything they can in the state of Michigan. Massachusetts, New Hampshire, not New Hampshire, I'm sorry, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, all these places, they're going after firearms, and these are places that black folk are not in large numbers in. We're just like this. We're a handful of the population. Yeah. So I just want you guys and girls to understand that. It started targeting black folks, but everybody is feeling it now. Out there in California, the fact that y'all got to go to Nevada to get extended mags and to buy certain ammunition and to not have to pay this fucking tax increase that they got coming on y'all, that $5 tax increase for ammunition and all this other shit. The fact that when you traveling, you can't go from Iowa to Illinois with certain firearms because they're going to be considered illegal. We all fucking under siege. And all it takes is for the cop that's got his head up his ass or her ass to pull you over, and you can wind up dead, or you can wind up fighting in a whole case. So I just wanted to address that and let everybody know. Black folk, the 2A community, we still trying to show the rest of the world our humanity when it comes to firearms, and that everything and everybody that's black that's armed is not out here committing crimes. Like I said, the vast majority of us have never been convicted of a crime nor been arrested. For white folk, some of your buddy and your brethren that smile in your face is the same ones that's sitting in behind chambers, even your law enforcement buddies, trying to get these laws passed so you don't fucking be armed. They just use a different name. Red flag laws. That wasn't meant to go after us. The red flag laws, we're going to ban this particular gun, we're going to ban this particular gun, where black folk ain't. To my people that's immigrant, you know I made a video specifically for y'all, telling y'all to get legally armed. I want y'all to practice y'all Second Amendment rights, because everybody is welcome here. To people that may be the children or grandchildren of immigrants, look, this is just what it is. If you legally armed, use your fucking head. These guys and girls are jumping out in tactical gear with guns pointed at y'all. Survive the encounter. Use your head. You know you keep your paperwork on you as far as your ID, your carry permit. That's why I always tell you, get your concealed carry permit. Yeah, they may snatch you. They may rough you up, but they're going to let you go. Don't let just all this propaganda that they're just yanking all these people up and taking them to these black sites. I've seen videos of a lot of people saying, hey, yeah, they snatched me up. Once they saw my ID and verified everything, they let me go. Guess what? It's just the price of doing business, because we had to go through it. Didn't matter what we was doing. We was getting snatched up even as children. They would go on the basketball courts and make everybody get on their damn knees and put their hands behind their head. Teenage kids, 12, 13, 9, 10 years old, shooting basketball would be like this, on their fucking knees getting searched by the police. We would get stopped in the summertime and have to put our hands on the hood in New Orleans, and it's 110 degrees outside. And if your hand came off that hood, you got hit so fucking hard, you believe me, you didn't take your hands off of it again. So, just going back to my original point before I get out of here. There's a lot of us that is unwanted in the Second Amendment community. There's a lot of people that don't even want a Second Amendment. Yeah, buddy. So, shout out to Pause and Play. All right, we got Philly in the house. Same to you. Happy 4th to you. Be safe out there. You know what? If you guys want me to do a part 2 to this, put a 1 in the chat room, because I got to go run and I got something I got to go take care of for a couple minutes. If you guys want me to do a part 2, I'll do a part 2 in probably about a half an hour. All right, Pause and Play. You got it. Everybody give me 30. I tell you what. At 2 o'clock Central Time. 2 o'clock Central Time is 1 o'clock right now. 2 o'clock Central Time, we'll do a part 2 to this. And I'll elaborate a little bit more, because I think this would be a good thing for us to go into, because I need to give people real life strategies, because right now we all in the middle of a crisis. But I tell you what, I'm going to do a part 2 at 2 o'clock. Be watching your notification. Till next time, stay safe, stay armed, stay on high alert, and we out.